Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I love you. And I'm sending you a really big virtual hug wherever you are on the earth plane right now. I want to talk about the next 8 to 12 weeks, okay? There are two consciousnesses that we're going to see get even louder than they are right now. Consciousness is energy, okay? And it's what we are experiencing. It's fear and divide. And these are two consciousnesses, fear specifically, which is the largest consciousness that we are clearing on the collective. Fear has been controlling the human collective for thousands of years. And we are now courageously beginning to alchemize that lower consciousness into higher consciousness, okay? Same with divide. So before I go into fear and divide, what does alchemization mean? Fear is a lower frequency. It's spinning in a lower frequency. Divide is a lower frequency. So when we experience it, we feel certain ways, okay? We will feel controlled, silenced. We can't think, we can't speak. We're not free, we're not safe, we're not sovereign, we don't have choice. That's what it's gonna feel like when you're experiencing fear. That's the consciousness. It doesn't feel good. Same with the divide. Divide is gonna create anger and rage. It's gonna create separation. It's gonna create, a defensiveness, right? You're gonna start defending and needing to defend yourself and defend your beliefs. It's like this massive war-like feeling, right? Massive polarity, right? And that doesn't feel good. These two consciousnesses don't feel good because they're in a lower frequency. And so we are alchemizing them by stepping out of them and experiencing ourselves in a different frequency or a different state of consciousness. Fear is a state of consciousness. Divide is a state of consciousness. And when you step out of these consciousnesses and start to hold yourself in alternate states of consciousness that are higher, it's going to feel different. I'm safe. I'm sovereign. I have choice. I have free will. I am not separate from others. We are doing this together. We are unified, regardless of our beliefs, regardless of our choices, regardless of our opinions, right? I'm not going to hate. I'm going to have empathy and compassion. That is a higher state of consciousness. So here's how I want you to visualize the alchemization process, which is what's happening, which is ascension, which is shifting consciousness from one frequency to the next. Imagine a tornado coming in, and this tornado is high frequency light or higher states of consciousness. And as the earth plane and the human body continues to hold higher frequencies, they start to be in higher states of consciousness. So this tornado is higher states of consciousness, and it's starting to get larger and larger and larger. The fear and the divide and so many other consciousnesses that are in the lower state are like, holy shit, here comes a tornado. This tornado is literally going to wrap me up and dissolve me. It's going to dismantle me. And so what does the fear and divide do? It gets louder and louder, trying to create more fear, trying to create more divide in order to break up the tornado. So the tornado will start to move towards more fear. Break up that light and move it towards fear. Break up that light, move it towards divide. How loud can we get to try to break up that light? Unfortunately, the tornado is so huge that no matter how loud the fear and the divide get, how loud you see it, the tornado is coming. And when it comes, it's going to literally dismantle fear and divide. It's going to pick it up, right, and swirl it around, break it apart, and instead of dropping it down like a normal tornado, it's going to alchemize it into higher states of consciousness. And this is a process that takes a long time. It's not going to happen in 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. This is a process. Ascension and alchemization of consciousness is a long process, right? But there's massive shifts that happen quickly. And so that's what's happening, this alchemization process, a tornado coming. And here it comes, and the fear and divide are going to get louder and louder and louder, trying to convince and pull those that are in the tornado of light back down into fear. So pay attention. Pay attention to what fear feels like. Pay attention to what divide feels like. Choosing sides, not feeling safe, right? Let's pay attention to that. And then I want to provide 5 steps right now to assist you in navigating this fear and divide. Step 1, Remember that it is a consciousness that's alchemizing. Remember the tornado coming, and remember that fear is going to try to get you. Divide is going to try to pull you in. Okay, so remember that this is consciousness alchemizing. Step 2, observe before you react. Okay, and if you're in reaction, observe yourself reacting. So instead of being fear or being divide, can you watch yourself starting to experience it and say, oh wait, hold on a second. Pause. Observe yourself first. Step 3, listen to the narratives and the storyline behind the fear and the divide. Why is someone trying to divide you? What is that? Why is someone trying to create fear? What is that? Why is there so much hate and anger towards certain individuals, certain beliefs? What is that? Start to listen to the narratives before you just jump in. Step 4, ask yourself, do I want to believe the narrative? Does this narrative feel good? And is there another belief or narrative that I can choose? Because you have a choice what you're going to play in. And if you remember that you're part of the tornado and the fear and the divide is going to try to pull you in, the best way to not get pulled in is to see it, to listen to it and say, wait a second, what's my other choice? What else can I believe in? This is not the only consciousness to believe in. Even if it gets super duper loud. The loudest one in the room isn't the one that you necessarily need to listen to. And step 5, and this is huge for us, right? Hold more love for yourself and others. How do you do that? You start to be in understanding more. You start to be in empathy. You start to be compassion. You start to be in allowing this to unfold, because I'm in the tornado. I know this is happening and it's okay. It's going to get louder. Allowing, trusting, and accepting. Accepting this and choosing. Compassion, empathy, love for the human collective. We are all navigating this together, all over the earth body, all over. And there are millions upon millions that can't see what you can see yet. I want you to visualize that all of us have this well in front of us, okay? And it's a dark well, and it goes really deep down to the like hundreds of feet down. And those of us that are starting to awaken recognize, oh my God, there's water down there. And there's fish down there. I'm going to go fishing. I'm going to start to pull a fish up. Right? And so imagine that as you look down and shed light down there, you see a fish. Imagine the fish fear or divide. You're like, holy shit. And as you start to pull that fish up, it gets larger and larger and larger. But because you know that it's a well, you know that you're safe and sovereign, right? You're just watching this fish come up. It's fighting and it's struggling. It's like, I don't want you to see me. I don't want you to see me. And you're like, oh my God, look at what has been in there. Look at what's been down there. Look at what I haven't seen. Holy cow. And then you let it go and it's flipping and flopping, right? And it ends up dissolving out of that well. Yet there's millions that have a well in front of them that can't see that. And you're saying to them, oh my God, there's fish in there. They're like, no, there's not. It's just dark. No, there's not. It's just dark. Are you going to yell at them? Are you going to get upset with them? Are you going to tell them they're stupid? Or are you going to honor their process and say, you know what? Eventually they're going to look down. Eventually they're going to see. I stay focused on me. I stay focused on my well. Okay? It's also very similar when you are practicing loving others. I want you to imagine a child, 3-year-old at a grocery store having a temper tantrum. Okay? And there's 2 ways to handle that temper tantrum. You can either force that child to stop by yelling and picking him up and having force and anger and trying to control that individual. Or you can say, you know what, that individual is having a temper tantrum. There will be another now moment where that individual, that child, will stand up and start to walk with me through the grocery store, continuing to go grocery shopping. And until that now moment, I'm going to hold that child in compassion and understanding and love and empathy. This is what we need to start doing for ourselves and the rest of humanity if we can. When we have temper tantrums, do the same thing. Let yourself have it. But recognize, observe. Okay? So the next couple of months, you guys, it's going to get louder, the fear. The divide is going to get louder. So remember, 1, it's consciousness alchemizing. 2, observe before you react, or if you're reacting, observe your reaction. Step 3, listen to the narratives within the fear. Listen to the storyline in fear. Listen to the storyline and the narratives in the divide. What is it telling you? What is it saying? 4, ask yourself, do I want to believe this? Does this feel good? And is there another belief I can hold? And step 5, hold more love for yourself and others. Remember, you guys, remember, we are the tornado. We are the light. No matter how loud fear and divide get, they're scared. It's not a right and wrong. This isn't about right or wrong. This is about consciousness that is being dismantled. And those that are playing a part in that consciousness are going to get louder because they don't know what to do. We have to step out of a divide of right, wrong, good, bad, and see this as consciousness. See this as ascension. See it as frequency. And it only makes sense that if you're about to be dismantled, you're going to get a lot louder. And our role here is to observe it, is to feel it, is to remember who we are in this tornado, our job, our role, our service, our purpose. We hold the higher states as often as we can while we get closer and closer to the fear and the divide, even if we play in it. It's not our fault. Of course we're going to. But pull yourself out as often as you can so that we can move that tornado through no matter how loud the fear and the divide get. Remember the bigger picture here. You are here to stand in that tornado of light and to alchemize the fear, to alchemize the divide. And how do you do it? You be in different states of consciousness. Step out of divide. Step out of separateness, of anger, rage, fear, defensiveness. Step out of not feeling safe or sovereign or free, that you have choice. And have compassion, empathy, and love for yourself and others as you practice this all day long. I love you. There is no mistake that you are here right now in your unique, powerful, courageous human journey. You're navigating it the best that you can. You are perfect and divine. You are okay. You are a rock star. You're doing this. You will continue to do this. This will pass. This tornado will pass. We're doing it together. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much. And remember that how many beings of light are around you, supporting you, loving you, holding you, and cheering you on.